Better not be another dead CPU or something. Hey folks, how's it all going? Hey Pernoff, Wayne, Peter, Pokakal, Vogon, Anonymous, Antonio, Kyle, Hey Travis, and Psycho. Anyway, this is a board that I repaired a long time ago, and I tested it for a long time. It was used as a replacement when the person's board was simply too liquid damaged. It was just like really bad. And so I popped this one in, and it tested fine for quite a few days, and then I sent it off. Hey, Margarita. And then by the time it got there, it stopped working completely. So I don't even get green light, nothing. And when I tried to power it up, check 342, I've got pretty much nothing on 342. So we've got a short somewhere. So it could be SMC short, could be, yeah, lots of shorts. So we'll have Anel's hopefully asleep. Hey Neil Lerm, I always like biltong, but I probably should avoid it. Eat too much meat. It makes me tooty at night. And then I get complaints. Hey Rescue. Vogon, well, depends what the history is. Did someone prize it off with a metal implement? In which case it's probably SMC. Hey Paul, how? The corona situation's perfectly fine here. Yeah, we did have one person in town who had it, but it was a case of they just came back from overseas. YouTube is not receiving enough video. I can't help that, unfortunately. It's just the way the internet is around here at the moment. Rescue? I don't believe I did, actually. Huh. Not sure what's going on there. I'll have to check my spam. Bugger. Alrighty, that's... yeah. Not really sure where the fault will be in this case then. Could be the SMC, could be... there's so many places it could be, because it's... this 3V42. And these are all the places it could be shorted out on. SMC is always a big candidate. I've sent through a few today. Yeah. No, I'll have to have another look then. Sorry, what was your email address again? Sorry if I've forgotten. Hey Aussie Geek, how's it going? Well, I suppose we can put in a couple of volts and see what happens. I'm kind of hoping I can find the blighter though without putting any volts through. That would be nice. Alright Mark, I'll have a look. Hey Rich W. Water on the board, 76 Cleveland clock. Well, I suppose the ISL's the quicker one to change. You can try it, but then it could be pointless to change it. Hey, Pedro. I'm almost thinking capacitor short, but it's hard to say. Like I said, it was working fine for quite a while, and then yeah, it gets down to the customer, and boom, it's dead. It's not really the sort of news you want to get, and it certainly didn't make the business client very happy, and which I completely don't blame him. Yeah. Alright, injection time, see what gets warm. Could well be the SMC. Yeah, Wayne, I was talking to someone this morning about that because they were asking me why Express Post was taking so long, and I said, well, they usually use domestic flights for their carry, so yeah, without the domestic flights, they haven't got anyone to carry it. So I don't know what they're doing as an alternative. Maybe they're just trucking it, which won't change the way that I am sending out stuff because I still want the tracking and everything. Hmm. Did I tell you guys what the fault was with the fast food joint that I was working at? Hey, Don Matthews. Fix a software issue in a W10. What's a W10? The pound of, that's sort of the craziness that I hate. And it's at that point you sort of go, that's it, I give up. You throw your tools over a cliff and you become a greengrocer. Oh, Windows 10, right. I don't know why I didn't think that. Hey, Happy Smurf. Anyway. Should do the trick. Okay, I'm gonna go 1 volt 5 amp injection to start with. Okay, we're only producing 1 watt. That's no good. That's pretty suckful, in fact. It doesn't really behave like a short. It is not behaving like a short. $16 ohms. It's one of those weak shorts. I hate the weak short. Andrew Hughes. $1.6 watts. That's basically nothing. And the SMC is getting hot. Yep, it's the SMC. Why did it have to be the SMC? That's very annoying to say the least. Hey Nick. Wayne, that's pretty typical, isn't it? But I was lamenting last week and earlier this week at just how damn slow the packages are to get here. And yeah, so it's no great surprise to me. I hate how these boards don't sort of stick very well. Hey Dave Legault, how's it going? It looks like I need a little bit more heat just to get this bit off. I guess the other question I've got in the back of my head is, why is it the SMC decided to fail now? Oh yeah, when it got sent down. Otherwise, damn frustrating. Because yeah, it cost me some reputation, that did. Don, my power supply software. Well, it depends on the power supply you've got. If it's a modern, what is it, SCPI one, then you can probably adjust it to work with yours. Looks like there's some scum in the middle there. Yeah, let's see what our resistance is like now. So remember we had 16 ohms before. Let's have a look at what we got this time. Well, that's a lot more like it, so yeah, SMC. Hey Pro Engineer. No, this is no win yet. This is a board that's come back in for warranty. It got to the new owner, well, the it got to the person who owns it, and it was basically dead on arrival, and I got no flippin' clue how that even happened. I gotta stop doing that with these tweezers. I'm actually damaging my parts. These tweezers are so pointy that it's punching holes in things. Oh yeah, with the fast food joint, I don't know if I reported, but it ended up being that the fault was the cable had pulled out from within the device itself that was not connecting to the serial connection. So someone had moved it around, and internally the cable was not restrained, and it died. There. Just pulled right out of the control box. I gotta admit, I didn't expect it to be this fault. Sort of happy it is, sort of not. Okay, we're gonna throw this SMC straight into the bin. Get ourselves a fresh 3437. Which, funnily enough, means... Oh, wait, what is this? This is a 165, isn't it? Oh, this is a 165. Thank goodness for that. Because I'm running real low on the 3437s already. Actually, I wonder if I've got a 165 already prepared. Yes, we do. This is a 165 that we took off the board the other night, and we found that it made no difference. The board was still dead. So it's a reasonable chance that this is actually okay. Say reasonable chances, not to say that we don't have a damaged system. Alright. Bring up our SMC Coliseum again. I did get my new label printers, and I got my 2D scanner, which works very well. And the only trouble I've got right now is that the Linux cup system seems to be having a brain fart over the fact that I have two printers that are the same, like two Dymo 450s. Now, I've even put in some UDEV rules to separate them based on the serial number, but cups are still having a little fit, so I don't know what its issue is. All fun and games, typical Linux stuff. Man, that smells bad around here. It smells like hair. I had a fear that I was going to run into this issue because I ran into it a little bit with having two of the same brand and model cameras on my computers, and you have to do some UDEV rules to separate them out. So I can get the device to come up properly, like I can make it now, it aliases off to particular printer names like address label printer and job label printer. But yeah, the CUPS system is having a tizzy. Rescue, what do you mean? You mean my SMC stencils? I just got them individually. Recently I've noticed when you buy some of the boards that the sellers are giving away the SMC stencils. There's a couple of pads slightly up there, but I'm not really tempted to mess with them. I think they're within tolerable limits. Of course, as always, going to do the 2 balls stencil system. Don Matthews, it depends on the chip. Some chips are easy to do as paste, some are easy to do as stencil. As bowls. In the case of the SMCs, it's bowls for me. Except when the yeah, the SMC I just put 2 diagonal opposing sneeze. Yeah, that was unpleasant. My apologies to all. It doesn't really matter where this ball ends up melting on. We try to go for the very edge, but it's not a absolute requirement. It's just a case of just as long as it's reasonably far. There we go. Hey, 3X, Brad. I think my stencil's a little bit bent. Yes, it is. Not much of a bend, but you do notice it under the microscope. Okay. Time to spill the balls, and I still have not received my order of .35s. I have no idea when they're going to arrive. I'm starting to panic slightly. And if I don't get any more .35s, then I'll just have to start going back to using paste. Couldn't you 3 blah 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 blah. Pro Engineer, I'm actually waiting to get a desktop CNC system so that I can do pretty much exactly that sort of thing. 3D printing wouldn't be much chop unless you're going to use it as a cast or mold. Damn, this is why I'm running out of balls. But instead I'm thinking of getting a desktop CNC and using this sort of rock fiber stuff. Shoot. Yep, someone messed up. Well, and all those balls are now wasted. Well, that's probably the first time that's happened to me like that. How annoying. How truly annoying. Anyone who's seen me do this before knows that that is not what normally happens. But that is sure annoying. Yeah, the Aussie geek. Flippin' gloves. My hand's too wet. Just stick it in front of the cooler. No, I don't want flux on there yet. If I put flux on there before I put the balls down, what will happen is when you heat it up, it will just cause all the balls to just spit right out. Alright. I know what I'm doing, it's just this time I happen to go wrong. But the 20 or 30 other times, it's... this is a frickin' useless glove. This is like trying to get quickly into jeans when your legs are wet. You probably could. Certainly I need to come up with a better contraption because this is a case of it was a bit of an experiment originally, and it's probably high time I actually improve the process for these sort of things. Alright. That is annoying. Me so mad. Like I said, worst case scenario, we'll go back to post. But let's hope we don't have to do that tonight. Oh, this is frickin' disaster. What the hell's going on? Well, I don't normally like using this, but ow. Congratulations, folks. You're observing a night where everything isn't going right. Just cleaning my tweezers at the moment. As I said to the other people, this normally is not a problem. But this is a case of an unusual scenario. So normally I go through this process without any dramas, a couple of times a week, easy. And it just happens to want to be misbehaving tonight because everybody's watching. What's Dave say? Alright. There's just a few too many to manually place. You get to appreciate how many balls are on that chip when you're forced to face the possible scenario of having to manually put them in. One by one, that is. I think that's what we're going to have to deal with. I'm starting to wonder whether the whole SMC chip is actually floating on top of something. And what's happening is the stencil isn't lying sufficiently flush against the fiber rock. And that's why it's swiveling around all over the place. But it normally doesn't swivel this bad. So this is how it can go poorly for everybody. Nick, quite possibly, yes. Well, certainly the floor's all ready for it. Goodness knows how much leaded solder is in the carpet. They're probably going to have to send in a hazmat group. A bit like when they're dealing with asbestos. Something's tilting the tray too. Yep. It's all in my favour tonight. Wow, I'm getting sick of that tray being tilted down. See how the balls are just rolling clean off. Now they're going to go in the opposite direction. What the hell? Maybe someone installed a gravity sink. Almost there. Yeah, I think we're done. Yep. That was excruciating. What the? That was lucky. Let's see who hasn't complied. This one down here I don't think's complied. See anyone? Let's give it a spot more heat. Hopefully it'll jump. There we go. That one went home, so it's good. Oh, well, I'm sorry about the SMC being a bit of a drama tonight. Oh, now it doesn't even want to come out. Come on. There's one very cranky SMC. Pardon me. Yeah, the stencil, when you use the balls, the stencil doesn't usually stick. And if it does stick, then you've probably managed to squish a ball under there somehow. Hey Jim Hook. Yeah, Anel is a word I don't want to hear, and it's 4 letters long, so therefore it is definitely a swear word. I've got too much flux on the bottom of this. Let's see all that there. That's one hell of a caking of flux. I mean, it's my own fault. I put it there. Let's try hit the area with a bit of heat. Looks good. Tom Anel is, or at least I believe he is, still a worker at Rossman Repair Group, who got run over by a dump truck and has a bit of a predisposition for being around boards that have PCHs and CPUs that die. So when Anel's around, he's a bit of the harbinger of death of CPUs. I see how that flux just comes rushing out. Makes it very confusing for working out when you've actually reflowed. Anel is not cursed. Anel is the curse. Yeah, it all looks very pretty under there anyway. Let's see what our resistance is. And that's looking pretty good. To cool this off, we'll put it into the turbo cooler. Hopefully we don't get a pop like we did this morning. It's not the kind of noise I like hearing first thing in the morning. Or at night. Or any time for that matter. Okay. Power supply, make sure we set it back to where it should be. It's definitely... I preferred the old machine for the way it did its memories, but this new one, it's tolerable, but it's not as quick as the old one in terms of the old one was just one of 4 buttons that you pressed on the front panel and that gave you your predefined memory. I can bypass that limitation by actually putting something onto the power meter software that I've got. I can have little buttons there and I can just pick and choose what I want them to be defined as. Alright, so here we go. Best of luck to us all. And there's something on the dam. There's something blocking the SMC there. Oh, the MagSafe. There's something stopping that MagSafe making contact. That end seems fine. That seems fine. Weird. Nothing. We've got absolutely freaking nothing. It's not a good sign. 200. What is going on? Sugar voltage. So this one took a few more hits than I anticipated. What the heck? Alright. I think we just killed the SMC again. That is spitting out 8 volts. But yeah, I think we just killed the SMC, and God knows what else we killed actually, because if that's putting out 8 volts, then that's not a good sign. If these resistors were bad, or that was bad, that could cause it. Let's see if that happens again now. Full 18 volts. That thing is not regulating. That is shot right through. Is there meant to be a resistor there? Six five. I'm gonna be all mad if there is meant to be. No, no resistor there. Come on. Flippity-doo. You're probably wondering what I'm doing there. It's just so I can measure those resistors. $352K. $348. That's close enough, considering it was probably quite hot. $57K. What? $796. That should be $200K. 796 should be $200K. $57K. Huh? Oh, that ain't right. How does a resistor get a lower resistance like that? That's not how resistors go. But it raises the bigger question of, if that was the case, how did it get out of here with testing and everything? That is exceptionally implausible that it would have gotten through testing. So I guess that begs the question then, did I test it? Well, these are definitely the weird questions that you have to deal with. Come on, where the hell did that donor 165 go that I was just handling a little while ago? There it is on the side. Well, that's why I'm bringing up this donor one. And so we're going to rotate that off and see if that is 200K. Even if I had taken this resistor off a different board, I have to check, make sure 3437. I wonder if the 3437 uses a different pair of resistors, same ratio but different pair. Now I'm gonna have to find out. No, I don't want the iPhone 7. No, 3437 uses the same pair. So I can't blame that. And that's a 200 resistor. Where the hell did I get a 50K resistor from? 7081, but that's a no stuff. So like if I accidentally picked up this one, but that's a no stuff. That's the one that we looked at and thought, oh, is there supposed to be a resistor there? And that's 49.9K. Unlikely. I'm definitely baffled here, and like I said, I'm more concerned about how did it even get out of testing with that resistor. Unfortunately, Charles, I need to find out, or at least try and guess why it happened, because this has caused me a great deal of grief, this failure. And something as dramatic as having a 50k resistor in place for 200 is actually it's a big problem. I definitely did not rework this area because the plastic blob, the epoxy blob was on it. So no, I definitely didn't rework the area. I'm just going to shove it over here. I'll put on the 200k. The only other possibility I can think of is a resistor strip. If I pulled it from a resistor strip, was incorrect. It does look fresh enough that it could have come from a strip. So what I'm going to have to do now is find any 200k resistor strips that I have and see if they happen to measure what they shouldn't. It's important that I do that because otherwise what happens for the next time? Shoot, sorry folks. There we go. Yeah, unfortunately I can't hear you when you're yelling out at me. Well, Charles, I actually don't know. That's the thing, I don't know. I'm looking at it and thinking it looks comparatively new, but then so do the others. I don't know, there's too many variables here, but I need to find out. Because like I said, this did do quite a bit of damage to my reputation. Yeah, that SMC is well and truly cactus now. There's no way that's going to come up. But we will check the voltage of 342 at least. No, we still got 17 volts. What is going on? Oh yeah, duh. I gotta put the lower half of the divider back on. Okay. Goodness knows what else died because of that. Nope, still 17. This isn't going to be a perfect reading, but it will be a useful reading. 149, okay, that's tolerable. 135, so the divider's right now. 4 and 6. Yeah, 4 and 6 for short. That's that one there and this one. If I can stop myself. It's not shorted. Yeah, it doesn't look like it's shorted. Nope. Oh yeah, true, the buck converter might be playing up. Sorry. I can't keep thinking this is a linear rather than a buck. But even still, with the feedback, yeah. Let's try now. Wait for it to cool off slightly. Alright, so we've got 342 back. But we'd probably have the dead SMC again. Yeah, 8.2 dead SMC, fried it, but goodness knows what else we've taken out. Peter, that's a vestigial resistor that we're leaving for testing purposes later. Yeah, this resistor, that's the old one that was there. That's the one that's measuring 50K instead of 200. See if it is that now. And now that's measuring 200K. So it wasn't that either. What the hell is going on? It was definitely reading 50 before. Yeah. I wonder if that perhaps could have been what caused the very original fault that this came in with. Anyway, we've got to look at what else we could have taken out in this whole process. So the SMC... So we got out 342. So the SMC could have been cooked. U1900 could have been cooked. That's the clock chip. I'll probably actually replace that and see what happens. We might get lucky. It has got a whopping great big hole in the middle of it, but I have a feeling that was tweezer induced, but I can't be sure. Actually, one way I can test to see if it's putting out 3 volts. Oh, damn it. I gotta find a way for the microscope to switch over automatically after coming on to schematics. No voltage there. That's not generating any power. Let's see, where's its inputs? Then again, maybe it's not coming up. We'll swap it off anyway. Freaking nightmare boards. Yeah, the problem here is basically we don't know what else is taken out because of seeing the high voltage on the 342. So what likely happened originally is that it was taking all the voltage, the SMC finally gave up, shorted out, and when it shorted out it obviously brought everything down. But was it before or after everything else died? That's the big question. What am I doing? I gotta get rid of that big center blob anyway. And I need... That's plenty of salt for that one. Yeah, it's not too badly damaged. That's a rare thing. It is entirely possible that chip actually did have a hole in it after all, because I've noticed that my tweezers didn't make that much of a hole when I put them down this time. Flip-de heck. Actually, no, I need... Yep. $72. 0.1. No, that sucks. Still, maybe it's not being told to turn on. Pin 13. Check orientation. Orientation's right. Got a fair bit of a drop there, 337, but it's not... Is this clocking at all? Doesn't look like it's clocking. Yeah, it's clocking. Okay. That's bad news. If it's clocking, and we've only got 0.1 volts there, that's yeah, that's a nasty PCH failure. Probably. Let's have a look. Let's take the heatsink off and have a look. I'm going to be real upset about this one. Because there's not many things that are actually sitting on that line. This is definitely a board that I have put together, I can tell, because that nicely done thermal transfer compound. Okay, no, that's okay. We don't have any massive cracks in there. Now the problem that you start facing with a board, once you've encountered this sort of damage and you've gone and put 17 volts or 7 volts, or you've gone more than 2 times above the anticipated voltage for the rail, is that you don't know just how many secondary effects that you've caused. And the trouble is, this is a 165 and I don't have a lot of 165 spares. And it's going to be a pain because this will be the second spare then that I put in. That SMC's got to come off. No two ways about it. I should have checked the voltage after I took the SMC off, but I was lured into a false sense of security because we measured the resistance and yeah, the short was gone. We didn't, yeah. Unhappy days. Not to mention, of course, it did cost us an SMC. I only wish there was a way I could test the board functionality before going through all the effort of putting another damn SMC on there. Let's see if I've got another 165 somewhere. Unfortunately, rescue, no rest for the wicked on this one. If I stop, I won't probably get started again. It's too late at night. Paul, no, there's not anymore. That was how it started out, as we had the short on 342 and we thought, yay, we've got a short on 342s, and we had a check around, decided, okay, it's the SMC at fault, that's shorted, and we gleefully replaced it. And then what happened is when we put the new one on, at that point 342 jumped up to 7 or so volts and promptly killed the SMC again, and everybody was upset. Yeah, Ben, that's probably not a bad idea. I'm surprised Apple didn't do that. Well, I mean, I think even just Apple alone probably could have put something like that on there because, I mean, they're usually quite pedantic about putting, um, voltage protection diodes on their lines. They didn't on that one. I guess they were thinking the regulator itself should control that situation. But it didn't. Looks like I need to clear that out slightly more. No, I'm not going to go paste. Paste is just going to be even more drama. I can feel it in my bones. Hopefully this hasn't popcorned or anything. I'm going to need a new set of gloves soon too. What is the time? 11:30. So it's not too late yet. This is... I'm not actually doing a proper rebuild at this point. Just trying to clean up the chip. Looks tolerable. Well, we'll see how the stencil sits because funnily enough, every time you use them, they change. So we'll see how it sits. The downside of course of using the Captain is that it does tend to whoa, that's crazy style MacBook Air. Sorry. And somehow I've got two balls now that I've come back. Locked in. I do wonder, is it the stencil or is it... Yeah, the chipset's fine. We'll see how it sits this time. Yeah, alright, it's a little bit squirrely. What isn't helping, I've just noticed that the base is actually very wobbly on this. Why are you wobbly base? Oh wow, it's bent something serious. Alright, I gotta change gloves. Which means I gotta spend a minute or two with the hands in the cool air. Put your hands in the air. Talcum powder, something I do not have on hand. Ah. Okay. It's just able to get them on. Good, that one's on too. Sync gone, okay. Oh shoot. Hello Anel, how are you? Well Anel, we haven't got explicit death yet, but I've got a mystery here and I'm really busting my brains trying to work out how something has happened. I do want it solved, but I don't know if I can get an answer for this one. Shoot. Oh, notice how they're not going in? They're all sort of gluing together for some reason. Just got a bit of warmth. It shouldn't be enough to make anything melt. Why are they just all... Wow. They're just like stuck together. I'm really not winning. Well, it's going to be painful, but I can probably manually place the rest. I wonder if there was a bit of flux floating around and they picked that up. Wouldn't be the first time. Come on. Get off. Yeah, there's definitely flux or something on them. Crap, 2 balls just went flying somewhere. Gecko having a good old laugh. The fun thing about manually reballing like this, like as individually placing balls, is that the more you put down, the more you realise you've got to put down. So this perpetual, I don't know, what's that Greek mythology guy who's cursed to never complete his work? Every time he's just about finished, well, every time he does finishes, a new lot of work rolls up. Isn't he the one that was also cursed to spend the day with some hawk eating his liver? Yep, that's some messed up mythology there, guys. And girls. Sisyphus or Homer? Sisyphus might have been more it. I don't know. I guess that's why I'm asking. Goodness knows why he was cursed. Maybe he looked at some other god's daughter or something a little bit wrong. And they sent down to the earth COVID-19 and made the humans suffer for months. Living in isolation, desperate for going out to the real world. Plagued with having to watch agonizing SMC reballs. Come on. Yeah, I want 1, not 10. Is that it? Oh, I think we're done. Yep. To be fair, I learned about that whole thing watching a cartoon in Australia back in I think it was the 80s. It's called Ulysses 21, I think it was. Ulysses something one. It was some French show. Only got showed one season and then they never rebroadcasted it. At least in Australia, that is. Right, here we go. Reball time. Hopefully not too many dramas. Hopefully not too many spit outs. Got a reluctant one. Oh yeah, he saw me pointing at him. He jumped back into place. Ah, geez, Ben, I don't know. Ulysses 31. Thank you, Pelnoff. Should have known you'd know. Anyway, so in that show there was the scenario where there was a particular god on a planet and he was cursed with having to break down this great big ball of garbage every day. And I guess that was a sort of sanitized version of the true Greek mythology. They left out the bit about the eagle eating his liver at the same time when he rested. Yeah, it was a cool show. Well, from my perspective as a 10-year-old or whatever I was. Maybe 12. I can't remember now. Dag niemand. Alrighty. Looks viable. Rebello, I use Ubuntu. This machine is 1910. I do have 2004 on my workstation. I used to use things like Slackware when I was younger and had time to spare, but now I just want things to work. I will say this much though, given that this failed like it did, less inclined to believe that it was something that I did poorly in the repair section, like when I originally did this board, and more inclined to think it was just really crappy luck. Yeah, should not do that. Should not use earbuds to do that job. The reason being is you leave little fibers on there and those fibers catch around the balls, and then when it reflows and tries to move in a direction, then the little fibers snag its balls and they rip them out and cause them to crash together. Well, Marion, I had the idea that it was Prometheus, but I didn't think Prometheus was the one that was burdened to, yeah, the infinite burden thing. So maybe I'm getting my stories crossed. Because, yeah, definitely the eagle thing, I was thinking Prometheus for stealing the fire, and that was his punishment. Yeah, clearly I am not a mythology major. Clearly. Gen 2 installs. Nah, stuff that. I do often wonder whether the Gen 2 ever reclaimed a balance of power. What's going on down here? There's something... Oh damn it, it's just a... It's on the SMC itself. I wonder if you, Gen 2 ever... Well, you get all those people who used a lot of power to do the compile on the idea that it would save them power due to optimized performance. But did they ever really save enough to get back what they used? Yeah, you tried to be tricky there, didn't you? At first, the first couple of movements you think, oh yeah, it's settled in, but it wasn't dancing. So you had to give it a little more heat, and then it danced. And that's when you know that things are right to go. They look clean enough. So I got the orientation right. Push D and pop D for directories, jumping up and down, yeah. I still use that a lot. Sisyphus is the one with the boulder. Okay, thank you, Gerhard. I think someone else mentioned that too, and I just didn't get around to confirming. I'm just waiting for it to cool a little. Okay, that's below human burny temperature, so we have a chance. So let's see whether we have a pop and blow. Green light. Better than what we had before. No fan spin though, and 63. So we've caused secondary damage for certain on some other chips, and I don't know what. Okay, what have we got? We've got volts. Let's see what PP bus is. Okay, so SMC is alive. Now the question is, what else is on the rail? Our U7100 is on there. I'm not sure if it depends on... .342 goes into VHST. Yeah, we'll have a look at the RTC and see if that's still sitting at 0.1. And we've made some progress, but not enough. And we're stuck at 64 milliamp. So it's not really firing up anything yet. Okay. Wow, something's burning there. What is burning? Other than my finger. Well, something felt quite hot, but I don't know whether it was an illusion or not. Could be short to ground. Let's check the diode mode. That's never a good sign. That's a bad sign. The reason why that's a bad sign is because not very many things use that line other than the PCH and some caps, and that's about it. Let's see, where are the caps? Oops. These are the caps here. But who wants to have a bet it's actually the PCH that's completely trucked itself? If we're really lucky, and I mean really lucky, if we take away that chip, the short might go away. Let us hope and pray that that is the case. Because if it is not, there'll be many a sad day ahead. Still, given that all the heat, it's debatable. See, sometimes the heat's generated as it tries really hard to maintain regulation. Please no beep. Well, so much for that. I asked for no beep and it says stuff you. It's pretty much game over at that point. We'll check the actual resistance as opposed to just diode mode, but I'm not really holding high hopes. That is actually a very hard short. I'm not sure I'd actually think that would be the PCH. I'm going to remove that cap and then have a look at all the other stuff on that line, because that's a very hard short. Geez, everybody's telling me what to do. Still no luck there. Let's just go through and try all of them. Okay, we've got resistor, resistor, resistor. Okay, we've basically got 3 caps left up here. Let us hope and pray it's one of them. Lethal 1, shut your face. We really don't. None of these look like. Yeah. Damn it, I'm melting the pretty little sticker. Flux. I'm starting to get tired. It's now Friday. And that, my friends, is basically a game over pretty much at this point. And that was my big worry when I saw that 342 had decided to push ahead and give us a nice 18 volts out, kill the SMC. I would really love to know what the original instigator was. Oh man. Yeah, well, I guess we can try to put some voltage in, but I don't think we're going to see anything much. I can't really move a lot of power. Oops. I can't really move a lot of power on this. It'll be interesting to see where it does heat up. Yeah, gotta tell you, I'm actually legitimately not happy about this at all. Now this is gonna be hard. I need a better place to put this. Maybe that cluster of resistors actually might be a better place. See all these here, they're 342, so I can actually tap in on that. The pin of the clock generator had a punch through on it. Let's see if I can find it. Yeah, you can see there's a slight punch through on that. My ultrasonic cleaner is making popping noises. Is that the first one or is that the second one? No, let's find the other one. Yeah. No. It's very hard to see, but right in the middle of it, there's a small hole. I'd be very surprised if the SMC... The SMC's got nothing to do with this rail, so... There's... This 342 RTC 3 volt, it is exclusive to the PCH basically. Anyway, we'll inject power around here. I might actually just do this using some other tricks here. Ah. Yeah, the trick basically here is I use the probe tip as my power injector. Six watts. Can't believe it, 2 for 2. And the worst thing is I am going to have to actually replace this board. That's really not what I wanted to do. This, yeah. Sucksimo. Pedro, the problem is that what's happening is it's going through to the other side where the PCH is. The bobbling is just simply because of there's a certain amount of resistance in the solder and the tip of the tip of the probe, things like that. Just gotta route this so I don't put too much strain on that wire. Yep, there we go. Bam. And there's the fracture. There's not much in that one. But it's pretty instant. Bloody hell. 2 machines I do today and both of them have got PCH failure. That's really just... yeah. To put that into perspective, that's like $600 worth gone. Not happy. Damn. Oh well. I've got one more donor board left, so looks like I'm gonna have to start chasing eBay or something and getting more donors again. For repairs and things like that, so that I've got boards ready to go That's a really, really suckful situation. I guess it could be worse. I could be dealing with a broken 1502 2015 screen, or even worse, a 1398 one. I guess it happens, some days you have good days, some days you do not. And this was not one of those good ones, so at least I know the fault. I do have another one that supposedly turned up faulty, and it came back here and it's working just fine, and that one I'm very unsure about. And the trouble is, I was going to use the spare board that I have for the one that's arrived that has the unknown fault, but now it seems like I'm going to have to do this one, which means I'm going to have to chase up another donor board in a hurry. It's just the way it goes, yeah. And as Pernov says, these Haswells are a little bit flaky like that. It's the way it goes. Anyway, before I drown my sorrows, I guess I'll say goodbye. And hopefully I'll see you tomorrow. Maybe I'll have some more exciting work to do, stuff that will actually work. In the meantime, you'll try to get some sleep or enjoy your day at work, and hopefully it doesn't go as bad as this. Until next time, you take care. I'll see you later.